Hello, James Patterson here. In this video, we're going to have a look at focus stacking in Affinity Photo. Now, focus stacking is a method that involves taking a series of photos, and in each we adjust the focus ring very slightly while using a tripod. And this way we can record sharpness from front to back across an entire subject. And you can see here, I've got 5 photos here. And if I go through them, you can see how in the image window here, my focus point changes very slightly. So we go slightly further back in each until we see sharpness along the back edges of the plant while the front is soft. Whereas in this first shot here, you can see in this one, the front is sharp and the back edges are soft. So I've recorded sharpness across the subject over my 5 frames here. Now, we can use focus stacking in Affinity Photo to merge the sharp bits from all of those frames into one super detailed macro shot. So let's get cracking. I'll go into Affinity Photo here, and focus stacking is ridiculously easy here. All we have to do is go to File, and Affinity calls focus stacking Focus Merge. So we go to the New Focus Merge option here, and this opens up the New Focus Merge dialog box, and we can add in our files here. So we add in all of our files here. We can just drag over them all to target them. So you just need to navigate to your set of images here, and then we hit open. Next we hit OK, and then let the magic happen. Now you can see in the dialog here how, first of all, Affinity will align our set of photos, and that's to just correct any slight misalignments between the frames caused by adjusting the focus ring. Next we see this depth map begin to emerge where the images are being analysed and the sharp parts are being recognised. And finally, our images are merged into one. And after a few seconds, we see our fully merged photo. And if we zoom in nice and close here, you can see how I've now got this lovely detailed flower. And you can see here, we also see the sources panel, and this displays our merged image as well as all of the other images that make up the stack. So after merging, it's a good idea to just zoom in close to the image. You can use Command or Control and plus to zoom in. That's Command plus on a Mac, Control plus on a PC, or you can use Command or Control and minus to zoom out. So we can zoom in really close to our image here and just check around it, because sometimes the merge won't be perfect and you might see slightly blurry areas around the image, particularly if you're trying to focus stack a really intricate, detailed object. So you might see areas that are less than perfect in your merged photo. But we can use the sources panel to attempt to fix any slight problems. So if I go around the image here, to be honest, it's a really good merge on this particular set of photos. So there aren't really any problem areas that kind of stand out glaringly. But if we zoom in closer, there's a slight blur to this area here. Now, if we see these blurred areas, what we can do is go through our original photos to see if there's a sharper area on any of our original set. And if we find that sharper area, we can clone it over the blurred area in our merged version. Now, to do this, we need to toggle this little icon here, the toggle source preview icon here at the bottom of the sources panel, and that allows us to change our view to see the different photos that make up the stack. So then I can click off the merged version and onto the individual photos. So that's my first image, that's my second, and that's my third, fourth, and fifth. So you can see in the 5th image here, it's slightly sharper than it is if I go back to my merged version here. So that's my merged version, and that's my image 5. So if we find a slightly sharper area, we can use the clone brush tool to clone in from our sharper version into our merged version. Now, to do this, we grab the clone tool, and we also need to toggle off the source preview to bring us back to our view of our merged photo. But you can see I've still got my stack 5 image highlighted here, and now I'm using the clone tool. I can clone from my stack 5 image into my focus merged image. So I can just make sure my opacity is at 100, Now, normally with the clone tool, we'd hold Alt and click to sample a source, but now we're sampling from our Stack 5 image here. So I can just use the clone tool and paint over that area to come up with a sharper result by cloning from my other image. So now I'm happy with my merged version of this image. What I need to do next perhaps is just finish it off in the same way as we would with any photo. So to do this, I'll bring up my layers panel here so I can go to View, Studio, Layers, and what I'll do is create a duplicate of my original layer here with Command or Control and J, and I'm going to apply a touch of sharpening to this duplicate here. So I can go to Filters and I'll go to Sharpen, and I'll use the high pass sharpening method here. And if we zoom in closer here, we can judge the strength of the sharpening here, and you can see we begin to see edges appear in the image the further we push our radius. So I'll bring that somewhere around about 2.3, I think. Hit apply, and all I need to do is change the blend mode option here from normal to overlay. And if I toggle that top layer off and on, you can see it gives me a nice sharpening result. In fact, if we zoom in slightly closer and toggle it, that's with it off, that's with it on. So it gives us a lovely sharpening effect along the edges in the image. And that's my finished focus merged photo. So there we go. That's how to focus stack in Affinity Photo with the focus merge command.